Okay, so we are currently one sleep away from the start of Euro 2020/2021, and I have thought that I'd like to give my predictions before the start. So I've broken down to a few things. I've got the player of the tournament, top scorer, best young player, the dark horse, the disappointment, and of course, who I think will win. So, starting up at the top, we've got our player of the season, and I'm going to say the top scorer as well. I'm going with Romelu Lukaku. I think watching Inter and Belgium highlights, because I'm not watching every single game of football ever, he almost seemed like a cheat code. Like, you can, the defender boots the ball up towards him, he chests it, full players swarm around him, he can hold them off and get a shot off and score. It's ridiculous to watch him play. And I think if you're drawing in that many players as well, if you just feed the ball to him with fantastic hold-up play, it's not like he doesn't have anyone or no one around him. He's got Eden Hazard, Dorgan Hazard, Kevin De Bruyne, Dries Mertens, Carrasco, they have Meunier, all these players that are so quality and gifted up front. I think Belgium are going to be so good through Lukaku. So that's why I think he's going to be the player of the tournament, and top scorer, because Belgium will just kind of feed Lukaku, and I think that's going to work perfectly. Next up, we have our best young player. This one, probably ultimate bias from me, but I'm going with Mason Mount. And yes, I'm a Chelsea fan, and yes, I'm a Mason Mount fan. And yes, this is incredibly biased, but I'm still going with him because he's outrageous. He was very deservedly Chelsea's player of the season, and I just feel like he brings so much quality on both sides of the pitch, kind of, in terms of his work rate. Like, he doesn't obviously come back into the back five or whatever, back four, but he's going to press, he's going to keep up that work rate that he's known for. And I think it's going to be really, really influential to that England team, because England have a lot of hyped players like Grealish, Foden, Rashford, Kane, all those attacking players surrounding where Mount will be. But what separates him is, one, his work rate, so work on the other end of the pitch, and also his vision. He creates so many chances, and I think, I forgot who it was against, but it wasn't good quality opposition, but he created the most pretty much the most chances in an international game, and he played one half. Like, with that much attacking talent and someone with that much vision, I think Mason Mount's going to be really big to that England side. So that's why I've gone with him as being the best young player of the tournament. Next up, we have our dark horse of the tournament. And I have two. One's a bit of a cheap one, which is Italy. Yes, I know Italy historically have a great national team, have got great talent, but on the back of their last international performances, they're not really that good. Which, in thinking about it now, this probably isn't a good pick for dark horse, but we move. Like, the World Cup, they didn't qualify. You can't tell me someone that doesn't qualify isn't going to be regarded as one of the low tiers for the next international tournament. It's not like it's 20 years ago or whatever. It was 2018. That was when the World Cup was. So a team, they've got the likes of Donnarumma, Immobile up top, Bastoni, Jorginho in midfield, and so many more players. I think they could do really well. But again, it's like they didn't qualify for the World Cup, so there's not a lot that goes, I guess, past that to let me believe that. But I'm going to believe in them. Big up Italy. But my more realistic dark horse pick for a team that's not really regarded that highly, I don't think, it will be Denmark. Denmark, I think they're in Group B, and it's Belgium, Denmark, Finland, and Russia. That's quite favourable for them. I feel like most people would pick them to come second in that group, but they wouldn't pick them to go far at all in the tournament. They'd probably quarterfinals max, people think. But their squad's actually really nice when you look at it. They've got really good quality, especially their midfield is really nice. They've got Kasper Schmeichel, Kajak, Melandoni, Vestergaard, Christensen defense, then the midfield of Eriksson, Daniel Vars, Pierre Højbjerg, Thomas Delaney, and then attack Dolberg and Braithwaite. Like, you've got quality players scattered throughout your squad, and the supporting cast isn't terrible at all. All of them pretty much are playing in the top 5 leagues. I think there's about 3 or 4 players that are in Europe's top 5 leagues in those clubs. So I think they could honestly cause a few upsets. That they're my dark horse of the tournament, along with Italy. That's a bit of a cheat. Next up, I have the disappointment of the season, and I think it's going to be Spain. I'm not going to get into the conspiracy theory that the former Barcelona manager hasn't picked a single Real Madrid player in their squad. You can make of that as you want. But I just feel like Spain have taken a massive step backwards in that squad selection. Like, obviously, Spain have dominated most recently. They've been probably the most dominant nation in the last 10 years or whatever. Like, 2008, they won the Euros. 2012, they won the World Cup. 2010, they won the World Cup. 2012, they won the Euros again. Like, that team was incredible. But I feel like this will be the first tournament where pretty much that whole team is dead. You've got the last couple of Barcelona players kicking about there, but I don't think they're going to be playing too big of a part. And I think from a transition from that massive team to back to a new foundation, a new bunch of youth players, I think they've really missed the integration phase with it. Like, in terms of players that had that success with Spain, you've got Azpilicueta, Jordi Alba, Busquets, who might not even be playing, or has COVID, so might not be there for a little bit. Thiago, and then that's about it. Even Moreno wasn't even there. Like, it feels like they've gone from good experience to suddenly youth integrate the new players into the new era of Spain. So I feel like they've missed that integration phase. They could surprise me, but I don't see them doing that well in the tournament. Might get out. I think quarterfinals max. I don't think they're getting to semis at all. Then finally, the main event. We have my picks of who will win. And yes, I do mean picks because I've got my top 3 favourites to cover me the most ground. But I'm doing it in order of my favourites for it. I never know odds for things, but it's probably the 3 biggest favourites anyway. But in 3rd place, I have Germany. I think Germany are a really solid team. And I think what Spain have missed out a little bit, they've integrated the next generation of German players really well. And I think it's going to work out the best for Germany, of course. And pretty much that team is the starting 11 for Germany is near enough Bayern Munich and a few Chelsea players. I think they're going to work really well together, which is why I think they very well could win it. Why I don't have them as high as my other two picks, because I think individual quality at times in international games can win games, and they don't have as much that main person that you can just rely on in that time of need. I think Kimmich, I think it was, I read somewhere as like that German players, or maybe Muller, I don't know, one of them, they were saying like German players are brought up very selfless, that's why there's no Ballon d'Or winners for German players that often, or often at all. And I think that is very true, because you like, in terms of France, obviously they're one of the two. You can rely on Mbappe to win you a match. You can rely on Benzema to win you a match. Like, Germany don't really have that player that you can pick, so that's why I've only got them third. Number two, I do have France. That quality of squad is ridiculous. And you've got the individual quality, like I said, with Mbappe and Benzema and stuff. But everywhere from goalkeeper to defense to midfield to attack, they're stacked. They're stacked. I don't agree with what Jose said of saying if France don't win, it's a failure, because they're going up against the best teams in the world, the best players in the world already. Yes, I'm sure they'd be marked as the favourites, they're world champions, but it's not going to be a failure if they get knocked out in the quarterfinals. Realistically, if they get knocked out in the quarterfinals to like Denmark or something, my dark horses, then that might be considered a failure. But I think that you can't shy away from their team on paper probably being the strongest, and I just think that there was a story about Giroud and Mbappe not getting along now that came out today, but I think the camaraderie that winning a World Cup brought them, it's either going to make or break them, which is why I don't have them as my absolute favourite, because like World Cup winners, I know it's in World Cups, but a lot of the time they don't do good the next tournament. Like Germany didn't get out of the group stage. Yeah, Germany didn't get out of the group stage after they won. Italy didn't get out of the group stage after they won. Spain didn't get out of the group stage after they won. It is for the World Cups, but that's why I still have them as my second favourite to win. So France, it's very well could win this. But my number one pick, drum roll, is Belgium. I really like that squad. If you haven't realised, I think Lukaku is the best player and all, but I think overall the squad is so quality. The only down back you could have is the defense. It's still quite old, but it's a very experienced that backline that they've played together so often, and I just think the individual quality that they bring is just, it's unmatched, even with France. I think, obviously, Lukaku, he's going to win you matches. De Bruyne is going to win you matches. Mertens can win you matches. Eden Hazard, I know he hasn't shone as bright as he probably should. On his day, which was only a couple of years ago, he will win you matches. Like, Eden Hazard versus France in the World Cup was near enough perfection. It was just the final final end product he just didn't get on that day. So he can win you matches. You've got so many players. You've got even Courtois can save you matches because he's a fantastic goalkeeper. So I think just overall, you've got that quality throughout. They are the world number ones officially in the FIFA charts. So, I've just picked the number one team. It looks like, but I really do believe in Belgium, and they would be my number one pick to win the Euros. Yeah, I think that's it.